everyone, it is me, Gigalum, and welcome back to Kirby's Dreamland 2. In the last part, we started the iceberg after clearing Ripple Field. There's a reason why I kinda wanted to wait before going more into the iceberg. And for that reason, I want to get an animal buddy. So, I will see you after I free another animal buddy and get a certain ability as well. So, with Rick, okay, so when you have Spark with Rick, it's Beam ability. But now, we can just, get Kind, because we're going to need Kind for the next one. Only problem is, I need to figure out where to get fire. And trying to find... I mean, I shouldn't have much of an issue trying to find fire, so... I'll be a moment until I can find it. Here's Kind with Spike. Let me try that again. Here's Kind with Spike. It's basically your standard needle ability, except, with a much bigger hitbox. Now for what I consider the worst animal buddy ability. I thought that fire projectile was weaker, but this is literally a worse Spark. You fire a fire projectile, but that fire projectile is not strong at all, because it goes way too slow for its own liking. But now that we got that, let's move on to the next level. And I'm gonna make a bit of a restore point right here. One of the biggest issues I have with early Kirby games is how much they want you to be prepared to find every single collectible for the best ending. So I'll be right back. Start us off with, well, that. Start us off, well, take 3. This is why I hate early Kirby games. Well, not really hate, but hate losing your ability in early Kirby games, because it's a bigger punishment than it needs to be. Start us off on this train of pain. It's an auto-scroller, and if you lose your ability in an auto-scroller, well, you better hope you can find a way to get that ability back. Because if you don't, that will happen. This is why I made that restore point. Oh no. Okay, I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I'm making a big deal out of nothing. The one thing I'm looking for is not for a couple more levels. I'm thinking of an earlier I'm thinking of a later level that is located in a different one. I think these things right here are where you get Coup. And even then, man, I really should have thought of this episode out a bit better. It's too late to to undo the one thing, so... At the very least, I can just course correct. I got my wires crossed, so... yeah. Ugh. Another thing I don't like about it is that, like, it is level design like this. There's a reason why they want you to take Parasol, because of stuff like that. Because this operates on the logic of get hit once, lose your ability, and your ability will fly to its heart's content to make sure you never get it again. And I was worried about having to tackle it much earlier than I should, but I was like, wait, why am I worried about it in the 2nd level? It's in the 4th level of this world. So, you can tell it's been a while since I've done a Let's Play. Because I was busy editing other Let's Plays. Thank goodness that was there. But I don't think it was worth the Maxim tomato. But you can tell they wanted you to use Parasol here and such. Oh no, 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 no. We have to off-screen this thing. Hopefully that did it. Look, that particular enemy, I will put the name on screen for it. If it hits you, like, if it hits you, and it can, it will automatically kill your animal buddy. It doesn't matter how much you try to attack it. That animal buddy is as good as gone. I didn't need to rewind for that. So yeah. Hooey. So I remember this was the world that made me realize this game this game is what made me realize that not all Kirby games I can consider good. They are at the very least playable. Like, I can definitely see, like, this one functions. It turns on and such, and there are things I do legitimately enjoy about it, such as the animal buddies and the variation you can have with it. But you can clearly see that the power-ups, like, unless they have a specific ability behind it, they want you to fight all bosses without the power-ups, and they only want you to use the power-ups for solving puzzles. Anyways, yeah, this is Mr. Frosty again. And he really likes hanging out in the corner. The reason for this reason of why I've had this realization is, like, I wanted to record this for a friend's channel. All the way back in, all the way back in, 2018. Like, even before I started doing Let's Playing. It was either 2018 or earlier. I think this was at the time a friend of mine just covered the first Kirby's Dreamland and such, and everyone was calling Kirby games, so I figured, why not cover the very first Kirby game I ever played? Finally try to beat it. I think so I got to this world. Like, I got to this world is where I started to see my issues start to irritate me with this particular game, and I think it's the 5th world that made me like give up, and I never really touched it since. Around 2022, I bought the 3DS version before the eShop went down. And basically, I was practicing it on those slow days when I was visiting Plum. And, like, I did get pretty far in it, but I never really completed it. So it wasn't until this year where I finally beat it. And even if it's not a long game, it's just that the process is just getting the best ending that gives me pause with these games. I still need to practice them fully for myself. I've only sampled 64, and Dreamland 3. And I do want to play those fully for myself finally. Oh, they put one of these at the beginning. Run. There's a reason why that enemy never came back. Oh. I want that. Come on, Kine. If I remember correctly, and I don't like saying this fact. Yeah, that's what happens. If that thing touches you, your animal buddy is gone. And you can't damage it either. So you have to maneuver around it. Oh! I'm gonna try to edit as much as I can around these deaths and such. But it was this world that I started to have issues with this game. And it was World 5 where I just gave up. But I know that if I was gonna cover this series, I was going to have to go through Kirby's earliest years. That meant having to go through some of the most, like, having to go through games that had serious growing pains. And on top of that, I got perfect. The reason why it took me so long to even beat my my very first Kirby game was because of those issues. I gave up with the 5th world because of how much trouble the Rainbow Drop gave me and the auto-scrolling levels. I'm going to say this. The auto-scrolling levels in Kirby's Dreamland 2 are the worst. They are the absolute worst. Let me make a restore point, and I'll show you why. So, right here, you have to fight Ifriti. So, if you don't have the flame ability, you can easily get it here. And there's a reason why. But we already have flame. They want us to bring Ku, but you want to know why you have to bring Kine? This is an auto-scroll level, and the Rainbow Drop they want you to get requires Kine. And the way they have you get that particular Rainbow Drop is one of the most cumbersome. And don't get me started on the fact that they artificially throw enemies at you, or not artificially, but they artificially make it harder by having certain enemies come from the left side of the screen to make sure you get hit. Because having to bring a power-up and an animal buddy to certain areas is so crucial that they make it much harder than it needs to be by having you lose your ability and possibly animal buddy if you so much as stub your toe. Ugh. So this particular world, I have serious ire towards. And don't go for that 1-up. You will lose your ability to bring Kine into that area. Give me a moment. Like, that 1-up is not worth it because kind can't jump high enough for you to make it back up. So, how do you think they want you to get to this door? You can't use your fire ability to break these blocks. So you want to know what you have to do, and I'm probably going to have to awkwardly cut around it. The reason why I'm using the rewind feature is to make things easier. You have to discard your ability, swallow in... You have to discard your ability, and discard your ability, swallow, and make sure you get that ability back immediately. Do it again. No other Kirby game had you do this. I hate this one. I really hate this one because of what you have to do. Because it's needlessly stressful. This is one of the reasons why I have issues with this game personally. Because of the collectible aspects about it. The needing to get best ending becoming needlessly difficult. Because they make it so you need certain things to get them. Like, you need to do certain things to get them, and I'm gonna say this right now, it doesn't get much better after this. We're not at the worst of it, but it does get pretty bad. Like, I would say the worst of it is like 2 worlds from now. Like, needing to have an unnecessary time limit because you need to discard your ability and you only have so much time to get it back. So that way you can use it to get to the rainbow drop is cumbersome. It is utterly cumbersome. And it bothers me so much. In my notes, I said this one sucks at the start of it. Because it does. I had to use rewind to get this one. Because if you so much as lose that ability, like, imagine having to do this without the rewind feature. Granted, I am playing this now because I've been spoiled by modern Kirby games. A lot of the quality standards are much different going back to this one compared to going to a modern Kirby title. I'm spoiled by better mechanics, an actual HP bar, taking a while for you to lose your ability unless it's a very strong hit. I am spoiled by all that. I am spoiled by the amount of quality of life stuff that happens as the series goes on. But that right there, I will not defend. I think it's a legitimately bad way of making it hard to get a rainbow drop because you literally have to discard an ability and get it back immediately, and your ability will only last a very short time in the water before it dissipates. Hey, I don't want to be overly negative for this Let's Play, but I will go over my final thoughts. Anywho, let me get the boss's name. Because it should be here. Yep, there it is. This boss right here, this is Ice Dragon. Probably one of the more fun bosses in the game. And it's adorable, too. So adorable. Hal brought it back in the game's sequel. Not in Kirby Superstar, but rather Kirby... Kirby's Dreamland 3. In fact, I even fought this thing without using any abilities. I'll try to do it here. Oh, I think you're supposed to swallow those in. Like, look at this thing. It's adorable. It's either Dreamland 3, 3 where they brought it back. Ugh, dang it. I mean, wouldn't you want an ice dragon like this? But yeah, there's a reason why you want to. There's a reason why this game wants you to fight certain bosses without abilities, because stars do much more damage. If I lose a life, I'll lose a life. I have like 25 of them, so I can afford to burn some lives if I need to. Ugh. Sorry for the clumsy performance. I did practice this game back in, like, June. No, I practiced it back in July. I was still trying to get a successful recording of Side Order Hackless. Anyways, let's try that again. Yeah, I had this game practice I had this game practice a couple months ago, and I never even got to doing the proper recordings on it, because I was busy with other elements. In fact, Ice Dragon's patterns are very easy to read. I guess that's why I find it fun to fight without an ability. Like, it will try to fly, it will try to home in on your location, try to cause shockwaves to make icicles fall from the ceiling, throw an ice spike that you can't inhale as a projectile, and when it summons the ice spikes like so, all you need to do is that. So yeah, maybe someday I'll take the moment to practice these bosses, so that way I can just show them all off without using an ability. I guess that's why Boss Endurance is there, to show your knowledge of each of the bosses. But, yeah. I think this is one of... It's, like... This is... I believe this one shows up as one of Adeline's, paintings that you can, summon a boss from a painting and be able to use it as a mount. There's another boss we'll be facing soon. Oh gosh, this thing is making me nervous. And there we go. Ice Dragon without an ability. We're already 26 minutes into the recording, and we've only done one world, so let's go to the world that I initially quit on. At least all those years ago. I didn't get to finish practicing on the 3DS. I still have it on my 3DS and such. But yeah, this is Red Canyon. And there's a rather naughty secret with one of the levels. And we'll get to talk about that soon. Red Canyon continues the tradition of increasing the amount of levels in the world, and is the last world to also consecutively put the rainbow drop within the same level number as its world number. However, I will say the only time the game breaks this is with World 6, Cloudy Park, and Cloudy Park is just very elaborate. Oh gosh. So yeah, this particular mini-boss, I've already talked about the name of this thing, simply because of, just, it's Mr. Green. And unfortunately, yeah, stone is not indefinite until you get out of it. So, yeah, and the problem is, because this is early Kirby, I can't move in stone form. Moving in stone form isn't until the, I believe, Return to Dreamland. Yes, not even Superstar Ultra has it, and... So yeah. Gotta be careful. Kirby. I believe, now, in terms of abilities we haven't seen with Rick with needles, will turn his backside into a sharp spike of needles. The reason why I find that the worst ability for him is that it's only the backside, you can't move with him, and it leaves his front side completely unarmed. In fact, we're at the area that this border is based off of. I believe I'll probably try to do an episode where I show off all the Animal Buddy abilities. I think that'll be much easier for me to do. Now, eventually we're going to come across a level where I'll say this is the last level to get this Animal Buddy, and here are all the levels where you can find each of them. So, yeah. All we need to do is just try to get through each level until we need to do some precarious framework with the Rainbow Drop. Framework? What is this? And now you know my other issue with this game. Your ability, that ability essence star hits the spikes, that ability essence is gone. So yeah, now we're just stuck with just using projectile stars. So yeah. Aside from that, like, I didn't expect this to be the episode where all the negatives set in, but you know the issue, you know the point of the game where I started to have serious issues with it, and a rather sad realization that saying that all Kirby games are good is kind of a bit of a blanket statement in my opinion, because I don't think all of them are particularly flawless or good or anything. Some of them are just okay, and some of them are just fine until they reach a certain point. And I'm saying this as someone who has yet to play Squeak Squad or Amazing Mirror properly. And despite there being sword enemies in here, there is no sword ability in this game. I know, for shame. So yeah. Only 2 attempts. I don't know how I'm gonna cut around this part because it's a bit awkward and such. But yeah. So I think I'll make level 2 the last level for this part. Never mind. I guess we won't show the worst Rick ability. Not that it matters. But, yeah. We're going to be going over... like, it was this particular world where I just realized I wasn't having fun with this game. And even as someone who's played it fully, finally, after all this time. By the way, this is if I can get the mini bosses. This is Wayu. This is a ninja. This ninja has throwing cutters similar to that of throwing stars, kunai, or shurikens, and can even do stuff like this, where they will puff up in smoke and try to sneak attack you by doing a drop, firing a bit of a smoke star, and I forgot they did that. Now, if you're wondering what, oh, hi, Gooey. Too bad you only heal 1. Now, if you're wondering what Cutter with Rick is, well, you throw Kirby as a projectile. It goes much further. Now, Kirby as the projectile is something that will become a bit of a normal thing with this particular game. Unfortunately, we're in one of the worst parts of this particular game, the auto-scrollers. This game really wants you to... It really makes things unnecessarily strict for the auto-scroller. The speed of the... Like, this... I'm gonna say this right now. They really should have slowed down how fast the speed of of the level was going, because look at that! How are you supposed to do that? I know I'm using rewind to basically have another shot at this, but at this point, like, I know I should probably be easing up on that, but okay, now that's just not fair. But at this point, it's kind of a case of trying to make my life easier, considering this game isn't exactly the best designed. This is the embodiment of growing pains and issues with this game. I'll be right back when I can actually get this. Well, I guess that means that jump cut just got cut short. Never mind! Explain that. Imagine having to do this without the luxury of having rewind or restore points. A lot of, like, collections and such has this feature right from the get-go, because a lot of the reason why there's a reason why I'm ending it after this particular level. The reason why a lot of collections have these kind of things is because a lot of it just feels too frustrating to do it without proper checkpoints. In fact, I'm just gonna go with it with just Kirby. I'm sorry, Rick, but this was just too much for me to just to handle. Ay. If there's one thing I'm thankful for, is the fact that that I'm using a SNES controller for this. The Super Nintendo SNES controller, those one-ups are not worth it. The Super Nintendo SNES controller, given its form factor, is just perfect for games like these. And there we go. Basically, because of the Super Nintendo, the Super Game Boy existing, this particular, like, using a Super Nintendo controller is perfect for old platformers like these, because I've grown to not be fond of the Nintendo Switch Pro controller's D-pad over time. It's a bit inaccurate, being real here. There's another particular Kirby game, entity that I'm hoping to come across at some point in this Let's Play. It's only a matter of time, but it's like rare on when you encounter this character. In fact, this character is different in the Japanese version, but it's only occasionally where you can actually come across this character. In fact, I just hopped into this level without thinking about it, thinking I was gonna end it much sooner. Well, I guess it's too late. Oh boy. Run! Run! But now do you see where a lot of my issues started to show with this game? Like, now, like, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom about Kirby's early days. Like, I don't want to be so overly negative about it. But I will talk about the issues I have with the growing pains this series went through in its infancy, when it was just a new IP for Nintendo. I can see why these games would be seen as, like impressive, considering considering the stories it told, especially back in the day, and just it having that intrigue and having it stand out because of that, simply because of it was different. It was not normal to normally have those particular elements in a game like this. Yeah, thank you, Scarfy. But that doesn't excuse the issues I have with this game. There are a lot of things that just make this game not exactly fun to play. And that was fortunately a really short level. Because those issues start to pile up, well, I get frustrated really easily with it. There we go. I don't expect a Superstar-like remake of this game anytime soon. But it's the kind of game that I wish was much better than it already is. And because we've been at it for 40 minutes, much longer than I anticipated, it's going to be much shorter by the time I actually edit around it. If you want to donate, there are a couple links in the description below. Any amount helps. If you want to follow this series and any others like it, you can click the subscribe button, you can click the bell, and you'll be on your way, but you don't have to, you don't want to. With that being said, I hope you're taking really good care of yourself, and I shall now bid you adieu.